Welcome everyone to another episode of Camo's Mirror, the podcast where we take a reflective look at ourselves and the world around us. I'm your host, Camo, and today we're diving deep into a topic that touches every one of us: happiness. But before we begin, I want to remind you that this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. For personalized advice, please consult certified professionals. So the title of today's topic is The Science of Happiness, Crafting Your Joy. Happiness isn't just a feeling, it's a science. Join us as we unpack the building blocks of joy and how you can assemble them in your life. And with me today is someone who knows a lot about this subject, a true expert in the science of happiness and well-being, Solomon. Solomon, welcome to Camo's Mirror.
Thank you, Camo. It's a pleasure to be here and to discuss such an important topic. Happiness, as we'll explore today, is much more than a fleeting emotion. It's something that can be understood, nurtured, and even designed with intention.
Absolutely. Let's start by breaking down what we mean when we talk about the science of happiness. It sounds almost like an oxymoron. How can something as subjective as happiness be a science?
That's a great starting point, Camo. Happiness might seem like a purely emotional or subjective experience, but there's a growing body of research in positive psychology and neuroscience that reveals the underlying mechanisms behind it. This research shows us that happiness is influenced by both internal factors, like our thoughts, behaviors, and attitudes, and external factors, such as our relationships, environment, and life circumstances. Scientists have identified several key components that contribute to happiness, and these components can be measured, studied, and cultivated. For example, studies on brain chemistry show that certain neurotransmitters, like serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin, play significant roles in our feelings of well-being. But beyond the biology, we also see that happiness is deeply connected to our actions, choices, and the way we interpret our experiences. So when we talk about the science of happiness, we're referring to this comprehensive understanding of what makes us happy, grounded in evidence and research, and how we can apply these insights to improve our own lives.
That's fascinating. So, if we think of happiness as something we can construct, what are some of the key building blocks?
There are several critical elements that contribute to happiness, and I'd like to expand on three foundational ones: meaning, engagement, and relationships. First, let's talk about meaning. Meaning refers to having a purpose or a sense of direction in life. This could be anything from a career that you're passionate about, to contributing to your community, to nurturing a family. Research has shown that people who feel their lives are meaningful tend to experience higher levels of happiness and fulfillment. The key here is that meaning doesn't necessarily have to be grand or world-changing. It just needs to be something that feels important to you personally. For some, this might mean volunteering for a cause they care about, while for others, it might be as simple as knowing they're a good parent or friend. Next, we have engagement. Engagement is about being fully immersed in activities that challenge and satisfy you. This is often referred to as being in a state of flow. When you're in flow, you lose track of time, and you're completely absorbed in what you're doing. This could be anything from a creative hobby like painting or writing, to work that you find fulfilling. The important thing is that these activities provide a balance between challenge and skill, keeping you focused and energized. Studies show that regularly experiencing flow can significantly increase your overall happiness and satisfaction with life. Lastly, relationships are a cornerstone of happiness. We are inherently social creatures, and the quality of our relationships has a profound impact on our well-being. Strong, supportive relationships provide us with love, comfort, and a sense of belonging. They help us navigate life's challenges and amplify our joys. It's not just about having a large social network. It's about having deep, meaningful connections with others, whether that's with family, friends, or a romantic partner. These connections provide emotional support, a sense of security, and contribute to our sense of identity.
It's interesting you mention these elements. I think many people might assume that happiness is just about feeling good all the time, but you're suggesting it's much more complex.
Exactly, Camo. Happiness is not just about pursuing pleasure or avoiding pain. In fact, a life focused solely on maximizing pleasure often leads to a paradoxical effect, where happiness becomes more elusive. This is because true happiness, or what researchers often refer to as eudaimonic happiness, is deeply tied to living a life of meaning, personal growth, and connection with others. For example, consider someone who has gone through significant hardship. Maybe they've faced a serious illness, lost a loved one, or endured some other life-altering event. Despite these challenges, many people find a way to craft their own joy by focusing on what they can control, finding meaning in their experiences, and leaning on their relationships for support. They might say that these experiences, while painful, ultimately led them to a deeper understanding of life and a more profound sense of happiness. What's particularly powerful about this approach to happiness is that it's something anyone can cultivate, regardless of their circumstances. It's about shifting your focus from what you lack or what's going wrong, to what you have, what's going right, and how you can grow from your experiences.
That really reframes how we think about happiness. It's not just something that happens to us, it's something we can actively create.
Precisely, Camo. Happiness is an active process. It's about making intentional choices that align with your values, nurturing your relationships, and continually seeking out opportunities for personal growth. Take, for example, the practice of gratitude. When you make it a habit to reflect on what you're grateful for, whether it's small things like a good cup of tea in the morning or big things like the love of family, you're training your brain to focus on the positive aspects of your life. This shift in focus can have a profound impact on your overall happiness. Another example is the power of kindness. Engaging in acts of kindness, whether it's helping a neighbor, volunteering, or simply being there for a friend in need, not only benefits others, but also enhances your own well-being. Research shows that these acts release oxytocin, often called the love hormone, which strengthens social bonds and makes us feel good. Let's also consider the role of self-compassion. Many of us are our own worst critics, especially when things go wrong. But practicing self-compassion, treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend, can help you maintain emotional balance and resilience. It's about acknowledging your imperfections and mistakes without being harsh or judgmental. This practice helps you recover more quickly from setbacks and keeps you moving forward with a positive mindset.
This is so enlightening, Solomon. I think many of us can start implementing these strategies right away, whether it's finding more meaning in our daily activities, nurturing our relationships, or simply being kinder to ourselves. Before we wrap up, is there one key takeaway you'd like our listeners to remember?
If there's one thing I'd like everyone to remember, it's this: happiness is not a destination, it's a journey. It's something we build and nurture continuously. By focusing on the elements within our control, meaning, engagement, relationships, gratitude, and self-compassion, we can craft a life filled with genuine, lasting joy. Happiness is about making choices every day that align with your values, deepen your connections with others, and foster your personal growth. It's about recognizing that even in the face of challenges, you have the power to shape your experience and find joy in the process.
Thank you so much, Solomon, for sharing your insights today. This has been an incredibly enriching conversation, and I'm sure our listeners will learn a lot from it.
Thank you, Camo. It's been a pleasure discussing this with you and your audience.
And thank you to everyone who tuned in today. Remember, Camo's mirror is always there, reflecting back at us the choices we make and the lives we lead. If you enjoyed today's discussion, please subscribe, like, share this episode with others, and let us know your thoughts. Until next time, keep looking inward and crafting your joy. Take care.